All right, guys, welcome back. So in the last tutorial, I showed you guys how to set up a Behance profile. This lesson, I'm going to show you how to create an individual project. So what I've been doing is preparing a portfolio to send to Wix for a design program. And one of the things they asked for was to show them my actual design process and what the end result was. So the two examples that I chose to submit are one of my lessons for a book cover redesign, and the other was for a board game. So I'm going to show you each of those so you can see what sorts of content I put in there and what sort of information I provided. So let's go ahead and click on this first one. So what's really cool about Behance is they let you style your layout. So you can see I have the black background, I have the yellow bold Helvetica headers, you can have subheaders, you can have captions, and then you can have regular paragraph text. And you can add a variety of content to your project. So this part, I've just got a text block. And then right here, I'm presenting to them my four favorite book cover redesigns for the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. And you see I added like a little bit of a page, like a little bit of dimension to show how it might look as a book cover. Now, what I had to do is take all of these cover designs and put them together in Photoshop so that they could be nice and arranged like this. And so this is all one single image. And so then what I did is I took them through some of the highlights of the lesson. So right here, this is a block of text. So slideshow highlights. And then what I did is I took my lesson that I created in Google Slides, and I exported some of the slides as JPEGs. So this right here is a JPEG, and I added another text block, and then another JPEG, and another text block. But I want to point out just how I'm describing what's going on in each frame so that they're not looking at these and being like, okay, what am I seeing here? And so what I have for each of these is a header, so thumbnail sketches, and then I provided students with a paper template or with paper templates of a typical book aspect ratio for them to sketch their thumbnails. And then I provided the image. And it says students then sketch their favorite concepts on the full page template to refine their thumbnail sketch with more detail. And I keep going, and then I actually provided some student examples of work. And at the very bottom, I provided links to the full slideshows. So this is just a link to a Google slideshow when you go to export or like share for the web, so that they can go in and they can see the whole thing. And then after that, I actually provided the YouTube video tutorials that I provided as well. So here's one of the lessons. So this is kind of meta. We're seeing a video tutorial of me within a video tutorial. So I provided that. So you'll notice from top to bottom, this was very, very thorough. So I'm very descriptive, and I included lots of different things. So let me show you one more project, and then I'm going to explain how to work on these. So here's the other one. So this is a board game and sort of a board and card game design that I'm working on for a friend. So he basically explained the concept of the game to me. He explained all the rules, how to play, and then I talked with him on the phone and sent lots of emails back and forth to actually create this. So this is the logo I ended up designing. And here I just give an introduction to what this project is all about. So I said a client, basically what I just told you guys. And I said below is a sample of an initial mood board I assembled based on our discussion of the branding aesthetic. And then I provided some keywords that describe the aesthetic. So synthwave, outrun, retro futuristic 80s. And so I took a screenshot of my Dropmark mood board, and I applied a little bit of styling. I added this fade to just imply that there's a lot more images. and I inverted the background, which was previously white, so that it would blend in more of the project. And so here's more design or more description here. So I talk about the board designs. So rather than just show them like the flat board design, I actually found a piece of like glossy black cardboard, and I overlaid my design and added some perspective to it. And then I also did this pink outer glow and then took the background from the game and put it all together like this. So this makes it look a lot more interesting than just having the design like just flat. And then after that, I presented the card design using a Photoshop mockup so that they can kind of visualize what the cards will actually look like. So this isn't actually a photo. This is a Photoshop mockup simulating what the cards would look like. And then at the very end, I showed them the wireframes. So basically showing this is what I was working with. This is what the client provided me, which ended up looking like these. And then these are some wireframes that I designed for the cards based on what the client described and provided me in terms of a spreadsheet. So that's how it looks. So if I want to actually edit this, I'm going to hover over that and click Edit. In your case, if you're creating a brand new project, you're going to click Create Project. So if I go in here and edit, so you can add all sorts of media. So you can see you can upload files. So these are specific images. You can add text. So that's what I have here. You can embed media. So if you do have a Sketchfab thing that like basically like a 3D rotation, you can embed that. This is for Lightroom. So if you have the Lightroom app, it lets you like import it directly. And then photo grid is if you have several images that you want to import to create a grid. And what is really important is to go to the edit style here. You can see you can adjust the amount of space that's between each section. You can add little dividers if you want. You can change the background. So in my case, I changed it to black. You could even add an image here, as long as you choose something that's not going to be too busy or distracting. And then headers. So this is an example of a header here. So I set it to Helvetica 42, bold, set the color. There's the subheader design, paragraph, which actually I need to go and make that Helvetica. Make the subheader Helvetica. Okay, and then captions are for just really tiny text. And then text links. So if you're going to link to something, how do you want it to look? So I could just make it that hot pink color, confirm. And then here again is just an image. They have this little button here so that if you don't want it to stretch to the full edge, you can kind of shrink it a little bit. One thing about these images, in order to get them to spread from the edge to edge, they need to be at least 1400 pixels wide. Okay, so you can't have any little dinky images or else they won't stretch. Okay, so I guess another recommendation is like for these wireframes, you know, they used to have white backgrounds. And so I inverted these just so they would blend in. So just think about what's the style that you're going for, what's the background color you're using, and how can you adjust the images that you're uploading here in order to make it all look like the same brand. See, I like took the color from the actual design. So for your project, these are the base requirements. So have some sort of a header image, have a title with a description, basically saying what was your project. So if you were doing 3D modeling or box modeling, you could say box modeling. If you did a paper prototype, you could say game design lo-fi prototype. And then you would describe it, like what was the requirement of the project. Or you could, if you're doing the game prototype, put your pitch here. Of course, make sure that your grammar and your spelling is all correct. Okay, so I saw a lot of people with like grammar issues. And then you'll do something like embed a video. So if you don't have a YouTube channel already and you want to include video, then you'll want to go and do that and then get the embed code from YouTube and put that in there. You should also include lots of drawings of, initial sketches, or if you're doing Unity or Blender, you'll want to have screenshots of your work. So maybe try different angles or different stages of the process. But basically, I mean, each person's project is going to be slightly different, but just look at, generally what I have here and think about how much information could you provide so that the person looking at this portfolio piece can really thoroughly appreciate and understand all the work that you put into it, what the challenge was, what the goal was. You can even go into the assignment and copy down the instructions that I put. You could say, my teacher assigned us to create a game concept or to model something out of a box or how to do a 2D side-scrolling game using Unity. So I'm not going to give you all the specific things. You just have to kind of look generally at what I'm providing here and make your own creative decisions about what you're going to provide. And if you're not really sure, you can ask me. So I hope this video was helpful. That's all I got.